Hi, I'm Dave Scadden. We're in southwestern Wyoming near the old west ghost town of Piedmont. There's one thing you can count on in the high plains of Wyoming: wind. It blows from noon to night, 365 days per year. I'm here with my good friend Dave Larson. He's one of the most accomplished Stillwater anglers I know. Let's let Dave tell us how to use wind to our advantage.
I mean, lots of swallows dipping down. They're eating chironomid. And this is one of the favorite times of the year for fly fishers on lakes, midge fishing. We're out here in Guild Reservoir. Big chironomid are hatching right now. There's big trout underneath of me eating chironomid pupa, larvae as well. I know there's trout here because there's a lot of birds. The birds concentrate where the chironomid are, as do the fish. So what you want to do when you get out on a piece of Stillwater is really, just like ocean fishermen, look for the birds. One thing, if you've noticed today, is that all of the fish we've caught have been with the wind. So I mean, I've fished against the wind, back towards the wind, and that's naturally the most comfortable. I don't have wind in my face. I don't have rain in my face. But you know what? Facing into the wind, we've got all of our fish today. The reason is the wind is pushing, again, the top surface layer of the water. We call that the shearing plane. What that means is, if the wind's blowing that way, the fish are all facing that way. So if you're fishing with the wind, you're fishing towards the fish, they can see the fly coming from a lot farther. So one thing that definitely happens in lakes is when you have a windy day, turbulence, essentially wind, causes turbidity of the water. It stirs things up, reduces visibility, so now the fish can see even less. It's even harder for them to see. So if you're fishing against the wind, if you have your back towards the wind and you're fishing with the wind and fishing this way, essentially, you're fishing up behind the fish. They can't see the fly. You might spend all day doing that and only get one fish. If you're fishing with the wind, a lot of the times you can do really, really well, catch a lot of fish. It just means you go with the wind, turn around, go back up through where you caught the fish the last time, and drift with the wind again. That's what this boat's for, that's what the motor's for. Yeah, there's big tigers in here. Cross between a brown trout and a brook trout. They're beautiful. They get up to about 8-9 pounds in here. Really big heads, really carnivorous. That's why we're fishing a bait fish pattern. Show them a little meat for dinner. Everybody likes meat and potatoes. Yellow zonker is the ticket.
Yellow zonker.
Yeah, exactly. Trout like yellow sometimes, especially when the light is golden. I'll go to yellow. When the light is in the evening, the light turns golden. A lot of guys have learned yellow, orange, right? It's always a good idea to try to match the light. So in the middle of a white day, for example, or a cloudy day when the sun is at zenith, it's a good idea sometimes to go to white or cream. So I always try to, it's beyond just trying to match what the fish are eating with your imitation. It's always a good idea to try to match the light as well. Little size 18 midge don't really do that much for them. They're carnivores, big teeth, big jaws. So a lot of the times if you want to catch those kind of trout, you got to give them exactly what they're looking for. And again, I'm fishing down with the wind, so I'm fishing with the shearing plane. So if these trout are looking into the current, they're going to see this fly. You can have the little fish up in within the shearing plane eating the little midge. Those are the fish we want. We want the big fish underneath of the little fish that are coming up to eat the little fish. 22-inch plus trout that really rail your line. With this retrieve here, you see me do a quick succession of strips in a row. What I'm trying to do is time that so if it's in front of a fish, he reacts quickly, even before thinking, and he pounces on it. Kind of like playing with a cat. Fly fishing for trout is a lot about teasing as much as imitating the food source. So whatever you're fishing, you want to definitely try to tease the trout into taking it. Essentially coax an aggressive response, even if they weren't necessarily hungry. But you can tease them and make something shoot out in front of their face. A lot of the times they'll pounce on it just out of instinct, just out of instant reaction.
Just as a recap of what we've learned, remember to be conscious of bird activity. Where there are birds, there are insects or bait fish. And where there are insects or bait fish, there are big fish. Use your motor to work into the wind. Once you have gained your position, turn around and work with the wind to effectively put your fly in the field of vision of more fish. Remember to undulate your fly and use an erratic retrieve to entice more fish and induce more strikes. Then hang on. Big fish can rip that rod right out of your hand. I'd like to thank Dave for sharing some of his Stillwater insight and expertise. Hopefully some of these techniques will help you become a more skilled Stillwater angler. This has been Dave Scadden wishing you great float trips and big fish.